Hey, welcome to the Honeyville kitchen. Today we are making some gorgeous, delicious bread, and I have to share with you some of the artistic ones that we have been doing. Okay, holy cow. Delicious, ornate, decorative breads, ones that you can actually eat, are few and far between. And in order to get a really fantastic bread, you have to start with the basics. So, I do all the glorious, glamorous stuff, but I started somewhere, and I'm starting you there today. We are going to learn how to make a fabulous French baguette. Okay, here we are with the French bread. We need to have the right ingredients. That is what is going to set your bread apart from anyone else's. So, start with your flour. Flour is the basic, it's your rock. You need Alta Artisan bread flour. This is a specialty flour made by Honeyville. It's the perfect protein content for bread. And I am using 6 cups of that in here today. So pour that right into a large mixing bowl. I mix mine right in a 1-gallon bucket because I can mix it and then I can pop this bad boy right in the fridge and it can sit overnight or it can sit on my counter and I'm not worried about it. Okay, then you're going to need 2 teaspoons of yeast. I like to use the higher power yeast, the SAF yeast, and put that right in there. Tablespoon of salt, tablespoon of sugar. Are we seeing some pretty basic ingredients here? Yeah, because it is basic. Do not make it too hard for yourself. Now you'll need a strong spoon, one that you could really do some damage with. Ha-ha. 2 cups of water, usually 2, 2 1/4, somewhere in there. You're gonna take your spoon, you're gonna mix up all your dry ingredients in there, and then you're gonna add your water right in. Just right. Just like that. Get all the dry parts mixed into that dough till it makes just like a nice shaggy mess. Yeah. Okay. Everything all assimilated. Now this is where we get down and dirty. We are going to knead it. We're going to knead it by hand. I think one of the greatest services you can do yourself as a baker is to learn what the dough should feel like when it's being kneaded. If you use a machine all the time, every day, you really never learn the character of your dough, what it's supposed to be like. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. And what we're going to do is a very simple rolling, turning motion. And pick one direction and stick with it. This develops the proteins, connects the proteins all together. And it's almost like a folding, rolling, lifting motion here. Make sure everything is out of the way. And once it comes together right about like that, I want you to do something against everything in your being. Because you're going to think, I maybe need to add some more flour. Don't do it. Let your dough sit for about 10 minutes. That 10-minute break will give it the opportunity to absorb the moisture that's there, and you're never going to end up with a super dry, horrible loaf of bread. So give it 10 minutes, and we'll come back and we'll finish kneading it. Also gives you time to wash your fingers. Okay, we have been waiting 10 minutes now. We're ready to knead. Now, some techniques to remember when you're kneading and some tips just because. Now, I'm a baker, I'm a mom. And the one thing that I love about going in and doing my bread dough is this is my quiet time. This is my relaxing time. Don't be like this when you're making your bread. Don't stress out. Make it reviving and vitalizing. You are making something fabulous for your family and wonderful and nourishing. So go that way. Now the other thing, don't be afraid to let your hands get a little sticky and just, I call it fairy dust. Just fairy dust your flour right onto your counter. Just enough to keep the dough from sticking like crazy, but not enough that your hands get dried out. You're gonna knead it just like this, about 8 minutes. Think happy thoughts, be calm, be peaceful. So people always ask me this, and I'm gonna tell you because you're my friend here in the kitchen. How do I know when the dough is ready? How do I know when it has been kneaded enough? Well, you'll know. It will be so stiff that you won't be able to keep kneading. It is virtually impossible to over-knead when you're using your hands. When you're using a mechanical thing like a machine, It could care less and it will just blitz through and keep going. So time-wise on home and hand kneading, just go until it's really smooth and clean and supple and pretty. And here's the other thing, it will be able to hold its own. Just like a mother being able to send their child out into society and they can hold their own, it will hold its shape, okay? So when it's done being kneaded, it won't slide down, it won't fall and roll all over your counter, it'll hold its shape, you'll know. Then you're just gonna lightly scoop this up, you're gonna put it into your bucket, or you can just use a gallon bowl, whatever you have. And I usually leave it ungreased and then cover it. And you're gonna let it sit for about 2 hours until it's tripled in size. So for the French bread and full flavor development, that's what you're looking for. Now I have some here that has been raising. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Almost to the very top of our gallon bucket, so it's gone pretty well. What you're gonna do is take your fabulous finger, you're gonna poke it in there, and then you'll know it's ready. If it holds its beautiful shape without the entire thing just collapsing and falling all over itself, you're done. It's perfect. Now it's ready to be formed into our loaves. So grab yourself a nice clean sheet pan, full size. We're gonna spray it with a little pan spray. The other thing you could use is just some nice cornmeal spread over the top. And then I like to put my sheet pan right up front where I can see it. And then clear off your counter just a notch. Now dump out your dough. Really light, again, fairy dusting here, not go crazy with extra flour. This bread has been fermenting and it smells beautiful, and you don't want to add any of this young flour in there and have it ruin that remarkable flavor that you worked so hard to achieve. Now, one thing I do like to do is take a little bread chopper thing, and we're going to divide that into 3. We're making 3 baguettes, okay? Now, to form a baguette, this is very simple, but you really want the whole dough to start out on the same level playing ground. So you don't want giant bubbles when you first start. So what I like to do is just kind of flatten it out into a rectangle, about 1 foot long and about 6 inches wide. Okay? And then take your fingers, just like a cat claw, and just kind of poke it right in. This helps with the structure so everything stays nicely aligned without being too hideous. We like non-hideous, that's good. And then use your thumb and heel of your hand, you can see this, and you're just gonna really tighten up that seam really well. Repeat that 3 times. And when you've done all 3 of your baguettes, you're gonna just leave them out without any covering on them and let them raise about 1 hour to 1.5 hours. And when those are done, this is what they'll look like. So we have some here that are ready to go into our oven. Now, some key things for French bread. Hot, hot oven, 450 degrees, smoking hot, ready to go. The next thing is, in order for it to have a fabulous crispy crust, you're going to need to get something I like to call a spray bottle, works very well, but something to put water on the top. So just spray them down really nice. Nice good misting of water. And then get a sharp knife, and you're going to want to do slashing or docking. There's a lot of different terms for it, but it's really just a nice thin small cut in your loaf. This helps it when it raises in the oven to be a nice uniform shape all the way through. And you can do as fast or as slow as you want. Okay, let's put this in the oven. Make sure it's hot. Again, 450 degrees. 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, I think it's ready. Let's check it out. Oh, that smell. There is nothing like the smell of fresh bread right out of the oven. Okay, my darlings, I know we want to totally eat it right now, but we're gonna have to wait for it to cool down just a little bit. Okay, I am just ready to dig in, and now it's cool enough that I can touch it. I won't burn my hands, but I have to show you what really good French bread is like. It is gonna have a wonderful, hear that? Crispy crust, and it's gonna pull apart really nice. The texture is just gonna be fantastic. That's what you want. Beautiful French bread. There you go. If you are interested in any of the delicious products you have seen here today, come visit us at honeyville.com.